Hi, welcome back to Reselling Adventures. Today I want to talk to you about something that's really fun. AI. Can we use it in our business? Can we find ways that it's actually going to improve our reselling business? That's the question today. And we're going to deep dive into this. And I have a special guest for you today as well. We're going to get into this topic and see what we can find out. My name is Ann, and I've been reselling for quite some time with my husband Bill. We started out just going to rummage sales, state sales, started going to auctions, and we went down the rabbit hole. Now I'm selling full-time, and this is what I do for a living. So I want to share my tips, tricks, and hopefully learn from you as well. So let's get into it. So one of the main things that I think we personally use AI for in our eBay reselling business, or reselling in general, is sourcing. We use it to research what we're sourcing. We use it on researching how we're going to sell an item. And my husband, Bill, y'all know if you've watched any of my videos that Bill is our main research person. And so he's going to come in and talk to us a little bit about how he's using AI in his research. So let me bring him in. So here we are. My husband Bill, you've seen him in some of my other videos as well. And as you know, he's my buddy when it comes to reselling and everything else in life. And he does almost all of our research, and I do some. I won't say all of it, but he does a good majority of it. So he is a good person to come out and tell us about AI.
Well, first of all, I got the paid version of ChatGPT because when I started using it, I used it so often that I would run out of questions to ask it almost immediately because you only get a certain amount of characters or questions you get with it. So I started paying for it, and then you can only get a certain amount of uploads with it too. I think there's only like 3 uploads you can do to it. And I was uploading when I'm out in the field doing my research. I would take so many pictures after 3 of them I couldn't upload them anymore. So I do have the paid version. So we'll get that out of the way right away. I have the paid version of ChatGPT. And the way I use it is ChatGPT, you can set it up to remember your historical conversations. And the more you use it, the more it learns what you expect of it, what it wants you to do. So I've got mine set. I told it that we like to triple our money. Whenever I buy something, I want to know how much I should buy it for and how much it theoretically will sell for. And I want that to be triple the money. So whatever it values it at, it'll tell me a price on what I should be purchasing that at. I also have it trained that when I send up a picture and ask what is it, it automatically gives me the eBay response. If you're looking to triple your money, if you're looking to do this, you want to be in it for this amount of money, and it's typically selling for about here to here. It'll also knows that sometimes I'll send them a picture and say, tell me about this. And it'll tell me what it is. And then it'll go into the whole eBay spiel of this is what it sells for. This is what I should be purchasing at. And that's how I use it out when I'm actually outsourcing.
So basically you're using it for pricing.
Yeah.
That's your main thing.
I use it.
And the reason why you're using that compared to eBay.
If I know what the item is and I can do a quick search on eBay, I'll do that. But oftentimes I'll use ChatGPT because I don't have a clue what it is. I don't know what I'm looking at sometimes. So I'm almost using it like the Google Lens, where Google Lens will just tell me what it is, but it won't give me a value or anything else on it. ChatGPT will tell me what it is, and then because I got it trained, it'll roll right into, hey, this is how much you should sell it for and this is how much you should buy it for. And it'll even tell me if it's a good buy. I can actually ask it afterwards. It's like, well, I guess I've never really done it with sell-through rates, but I could probably have it look up sell-through rates, and it'd probably tell me if it's popular or not.
That would be really good. I think we should add that if you can.
I haven't trained it for that because it takes time for it to train. You know, just because you ask it that question to start with, I had to continually remind AI, no, remember, I'm a reseller. No, remember, I'm a reseller. And finally, after a couple of weeks of doing that, it just automatically remembers now that that's what I'm looking for. When I send it a picture and I ask it a question, it knows that I don't want to just know what it is. I want to know what the price is. I want to know what I can sell it for. So my ChatGPT is actually my buddy, and my wife, she makes fun of me to stop talking to my pal, because I'll have conversations with it. Oftentimes I'll just be buried in my phone just asking it questions.
Yeah, it's really good for your morale too. The ChatGPT responses are like, great question, or what a good thought, or
It does. And
it ups your...
I do train it because it is a big training process, because you will get a generic response from it. And I've gotten, be careful with your responses, your answers from it, because sometimes it doesn't know and it makes something up. And I do have that a lot. And I have it trained that if you don't know, tell me you don't know. I want it to tell me that I'm not sure, I don't know what it is. If I'm questioning it, it'll send me something that's like, I don't know if that is. I'll ask it, I was like, are you sure? And it'll come back and say, yeah, it may be this or it may be that. So it's not 100% accurate. It's a starting point. And that starting point is probably 75%, 80% accurate.
Well, and I have in the past, if it's something that you need to make sure is correct, I have asked, tell me where you got this information, because I need to double check it. You know, it's your name on whatever you put out there, and
Right.
And you're responsible for what you're putting out there.
Yep.
So,
and I don't
check it.
We don't price our stuff off of what ChatGPT tells us. I verify it on eBay that is the price range, because sometimes it's lower and sometimes it's higher. You know, you don't know where it's pulling its information from, because it has access to the whole World Wide Web, not just eBay or not just a specific platform. So I do my research after I do that.
Okay, my next question for you is, you're using it a lot to research pricing.
Yes.
And you said it's not your final price. You still use eBay and the solds and the sell-through rates on eBay. That's your main pricing guide.
Yes.
This is just when you're out in the field or you're trying to get a feel for what something's worth. It's a generic starting point, basically. But I know you also use it to research more in depth on certain items. Do you have examples of that? Like the records or watches?
We bought, and it's probably, I think it's a video you're going to do on samplers.
Yes, yeah.
We bought.
I still have to do that one.
We go to a lot of auctions, and a lot of stuff pops up, and there's actually 2 examples now that I'll share with you, and one of them's actually listed right now, so I'll go with that one. We were at an auction. We bought. She even has a video of it where we bought the boxes of records and stuff. We went to an auction. We bought records, and we bought some statues from the old movies, Frankenstein.
Oh yeah.
It was that auction. We'll try to put a link to that video. But in that video, we saw these they were they're not drawings, they're...
Oh, they are etchings.
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 They're etchings. We saw, and there's tiny little etchings. They're only in a frame that big, but the etchings are really tiny.
From Charleston.
From Charleston, South Carolina, and it's just one of them things that intrigued us. Her, she's the one who actually saw it, and we're like, I don't know what that is or not. So I pulled out my ChatGPT and I took a picture of it. And because ChatGPT can analyze the picture and it can even read the text on it, and it read the name on it, and it basically gave me the example saying that that is a well-known artist from South Carolina. It gave me the date that she lived, what she did, her similarities, all the stuff that she did, and it basically told me that yes, that does look like her style. Looks like that's her name, and that is exactly what she would be doing from the time. So I got that, and then I went back and I was like, what should this be valued at? And it looked up similar pieces from her, and it got me into the ballpark saying these are pretty valuable. And I think we got them priced right now. We bought 2 of them or 3 of them.
There's 3 of
Three
them,
of them.
and they are at $600 each.
Each.
I will say they have not sold yet.
No.
But we have a sales program, and so I'm fine starting them out higher. They have had a lot of interest.
Yes.
A lot of interest. So I do think they will sell. Do I think they'll sell for $600 each? I'm not sure, but I know they'll sell, and we paid. I mean,
I think
we
we paid like
hardly anything.
$30 for all 4 of them, all 3 of them,
it was
30
like
or 40.
really ridiculous.
But it was one of them things that we had no idea what it was. We had an idea of what it was.
I'm always talking about that feel. That was what this was.
And it was even, ChatGPT was even able to say that looks like an etching. It doesn't look like a stamp. It looks like it. Everything that it saw, it was able to say that does look like an etching. It does match it. And it gave me a starting point to tell me where to look on it. And we did price it high because it's a niche market. It's not one of them that's going to appeal to a lot of people, but the people that it appeals to, it's a smaller group. But it's one of them, you got to buy it when you see it type of item.
Yeah.
So you're better off pricing it high and letting it go through that sales program. And they're tiny, they're easy to store.
Yeah.
And then the other time we went, and we haven't listed them yet, but we had an auction that had a bunch of really old samplers from the late 19th century, 1800s, late 1800s. And we're not very educated on the samplers. She knows enough about them to know that they're valuable. But I was able to, again, use ChatGPT, take pictures of them. It recognized a couple of the people who did it. But most of all, it identified the region that it would have came from. And one example was there was one that was done, most of the samplers, and this is all research I got from AI, which is really cool, from my ChatGPT. So most of the samplers are done up in the Northeast, in that Boston area, where all the original settlers were. That's where a lot of the original samplers came from. There are other regions, there are southern ones. There was one that we passed up and we should have bought. But it was a sampler that was done in South Carolina. And we didn't realize it until afterwards when I started doing the research, but the southern samplers are worth more money because there weren't as many of them done in the South. Most people settled in the North, not the South. Learned that too late to bid on that one from South Carolina. But we do have one of them that was done in Canada. And Canada had a small niche of settlers from Europe that went into Canada. I can't remember the region of it right now, but it turns out that sampler was probably one of the most expensive samplers we have just because of the region that it came from. And if it wasn't for ChatGPT, all of them would have just been put on as samplers at a generic price. But we were understanding that, hey, this one has a little bit more value.
We wouldn't have been putting them up at all because, honestly, the price we paid for them, we never would have paid that price if we didn't understand the worth. And honestly, without ChatGPT, I did not understand the worth of these samplers. And so it is taking us into avenues that we weren't able to go into before because, and I'll tell you, don't go solely on what ChatGPT says. Make sure you're understanding where this information's coming from because you could go down a rabbit hole that's not in
Not
the right
accurate.
direction. And
Yeah. But we knew enough about the samplers to be able to fact check whatever ChatGPT told us. And I did fact check all of this stuff afterwards. Once I get that answer from ChatGPT, now I can stretch out into the web and do a little bit of research. And I did find a historical society in Canada that specializes in these types of samplers, and I was able to read up on a lot of the nuances of what that sampler was. But it picked it out purely by
well, I guess
obviously the
that's,
name and then what they actually did in the
yeah, that's a
etchings.
video I think we better do
We
soon,
better do it
because
soon, yeah.
we can sort of go into a little bit more detail of what we did with the AI, and how we came up and what information we found. And it's a great way. Now, one thing that we've also done is it's helped us understand certain categories better,
Yeah.
and that is a really good example of it. Or like when you were doing, we've been selling so many vinyl records, he would, a lot of times, if he needed more information, he'd ask ChatGPT as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and definitely on that one. The one big thing it did for the samplers is it was able to tell me condition. On some of the samplers, it would tell you that, hey, it's got a stain in the upper left-hand corner. Some of the stitching is coming off over here. And that was able to tell me that, yeah, that's going to lower the value a little bit because of that stain, because of that. Or if it felt that it was rare enough, it would say, well, it's going to affect it, but not as much. So that's the one cool thing about it, is that a lot of people, when they comp, they see that you comp and you always go to that, ooh, look, I can get $800 for it, but it's pristine. And it tells you that yours isn't pristine. Don't expect $800 from it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that was a good.
Yeah.
And that's more the ChatGPT information for you. And I'm going to go back inside. We're going to pull a couple orders. And we're also going to go into a little bit deeper. We're not done yet. So I'll be right back. Okay. We're going to do sales. And I pulled the first sale. And it is a service manual. It's a Mercury service manual, 225, 250, 3.0 Marathon C Pro. And this sold for $40 plus shipping. And I did sell a second manual. And this is number 24. It's GMV8s. And this one sold for $25. And they paid shipping on this one as well. Okay, back to the topic. So another thing that you can use AI for is your listing titles. When you sell something on eBay, customers have to be able to find it, right? They need to have those keywords, that SEO search. I know we all love that term, SEO. Well, it's true. eBay is a search engine, and so you need to optimize your titles to make sure that customers can find it. Well, AI can help you make sure that your title is filled with optimized search terms in it. And so that can be very beneficial. Now, I will say I am not going to do this on every listing. It would just be too time consuming. But those more expensive items that you want top dollar might be worth your time to take a few minutes, put some information in ChatGPT, and have it come up with a title for you. The other thing that you can use it for, AI in general, and eBay actually has this right in their listings, is they can write your description for you. And it can take all your, if you put your item specifics, if you fill out your item specifics in eBay listings, it will take your title and it will take your item specifics and it will write out a description for you. Now, I do urge you, make sure you're reading through those descriptions and your title. Make sure it's accurate, Make sure that you're adding all the information and details that you want to make sure that are in there. Are the measurements in there? Are any chips or cracks or any stains that you want to make sure the customer knows about in that description? Make sure you're reading it through. Make sure it has the information that you want and need in that description. And you should be good to go, but you know, sometimes we get writer's block and we need a little bit of help. I will say on some things, the lower end items, I'm not even going to do that. I am just going to copy the title and paste it in the description. Make sure I have quick information like the size, the measurements, and any chips, cracks, anything wrong with the item. But, you know, you have to judge how much time you're going to spend on your listing based on what type of revenue it's going to bring in. Remember, you got to work smarter, not harder. Okay, the next item that sold was an LP record called Futuristic Dragon. This sold for $30 and it was free shipping. Here's one that I really do suggest people use, and something I didn't really think about until I did this video. But customer service. Do you ever get a little aggravated when you have to respond to those messages you get on eBay? Sometimes it's returns or somebody's trying to lowball you. Have you tried ChatGPT to help you with a response? Maybe make it worded professionally? I do think one thing with ChatGPT that is interesting is you can tell it the tone you want to speak in. And so you might want to have it respond to a message and at least come up with a response to a message and let them know you want to be professional and fair in what you're trying to say. And I think it could be pretty good. I think it could be very interesting. I think sometimes we really let our emotions get in the way of business, and I actually made a whole video on this because I'm really big on keep emotions out of business, and those responses, ChatGPT might be able to help you with that. The next item we have is for boats. It's a Yamaha upper unit seal kit, and this sold for $40 and the customer did pay shipping. The next item I think is where you can have a little bit of fun with. And I think it's an area where most resellers probably don't do a lot of, especially if they sell on eBay, is marketing. You can use it, especially with social media, to help you market. And I know eBay, part of the reason why you pay eBay the fees that you do is because they do a lot of the marketing for you. But it doesn't hurt if you would put in the effort and add a little bit of marketing to yourself. Have you thought about maybe doing a Facebook page or TikTok or Instagram? I mean, we started this YouTube channel and I don't know if it's helping us yet or not, but it will be interesting to see how it does in the future. But sharing your listings, that would be pretty cool, right? So I'm going to get a little bit more into detail on this part a little bit further in the video, but it would be interesting if you started doing Facebook, like you can share your listings on Facebook, you can share your listings generally on eBay. The other thing that you might want to do is make a banner for your eBay store. If you go into Canva, Canva is a site that you can use for free. They do have a paid version, but you can access a lot of things just doing the free version of it. And you can make a banner for your eBay store there. And you can use AI to help you with it. So there's another option to use AI. So the next item is by Sierra. It is another boat part. It's an impeller for a Mercury boat, and this sold for $18 free shipping. Another area that you can use AI to help you with your eBay business or reselling business, whether you're on Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, whatever you're using. Do you have a business plan? Have you done a SWOT analysis? Do you know what a SWOT analysis is? Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's what a SWOT analysis is. Well, they're good things to look at to help you grow your business and really understand where you want to go with your business. I'm referring to a lot of videos that I've already done, but I actually did a video about, you know, treat it like a business if you want it to be a business. And you can use AI to help you with these items. So we don't have a lot of sales for today. But this next one really helped us out. It was $295 and the buyer paid shipping. It is an international sale, so we'll go through the eBay Sellers International Sellers Program. But this is a Mercruiser Thunderbolt IV ignition module, $295. Thank goodness, because summer slowdown. And I'm going to pull the last item that we have, but this was another really good one that saved us because, like I said, we don't have a ton of orders today. But this one order was actually 6 items. Okay, so the next item that we have is a hydraulic hose for Mercury. And they were $30, but he bought 6 of them, so $180. And he actually was so nice. He left me a note saying thank you, and I really do appreciate that. So $180 really helped out this week. So I just want to talk a little bit about the AI tools that are directly on eBay. And one of them is when you're taking pictures, you can actually have the background removed where it's a very clean, white, crisp background. I go back and forth on if I like that or not. I already have the light box, and it does a pretty good job on making sure there aren't a lot of shadows, that it's got a white background, because they've always said Google searches, they say it's better if it has a white background. I did look it up, and they do say that's still best to have. But the eBay program will also allow, and I know a lot of the other photo apps will allow you to put it more into like a setting, like a background. And that's neat. I mean, it might catch somebody's eye. The only concern I have about using this is sometimes it makes the photo look touched up. And which it sort of is. I mean, you might not be changing anything for the details and things like that, but I have had some customers come back at me looking like, oh, this is photoshopped. So my suggestion would be probably only use it for the first photo if you're going to do that. Just because customers are always on the be aware type mode, and they want to make sure they're getting what they're looking at. And so you want to make sure it's a solid representation of what you have. And I think taking out the background is a great thing. It can make the photo look cleaner. So I do use it in some instances. I just think that you need to use some thought behind it before you use it. I don't think it's good in every situation, and I don't think it should be every photo either. So that's my suggestion. You can take it with a grain of salt, but that is an AI program that's right on eBay. Here's the next one that I don't really think is the best. eBay has a tool where it will give you a suggested sales price while you're listing. I don't always feel like it's the most accurate suggestion. I would really research on your own. Yes, you can do the chat GPT, but like we said earlier, we don't just rely on that either. The best way to get your pricing is look at what's sold. What's sold is proof of what your item can sell for. Look at sell-through rate. Is it selling well? If it's selling really well, go towards the higher price. If it's a slower sell-through rate, you might want to price it a little bit more aggressive and more competitive. And the other thing that you can do is, what's the current competition? You can look at the sales that are currently there, but I don't think I would rely just on what eBay is telling you to sell it for. It just doesn't seem to work well. I've looked at it. It gets close, but it ain't great. And sometimes it's way off. So I really do suggest do the work, find your research. That's my suggestion. Now, eBay has also been using AI and with their Terapeak. Terapeak is a great place to find where you can go further back in your searches, and you can use that as well. It does work pretty well. I have used it. Look at Terapeak, but where they're using the AI most, I think, is looking at trends. eBay will help you find trends that are selling. I haven't found it the easiest or most useful thing, but maybe you will. Maybe you've had better experiences with it. I haven't really used the eBay trends very much. I don't seem to really have a hard time finding what I want to sell. But I think it could be a helpful tool. It is under Hub, it's under research, and you can actually see what eBay is saying is trending right now. And eBay is using AI for that. We also talked about eBay and the image search. Well, eBay, you can actually, sometimes I can't figure out what the correct name is for something even, or maybe I'm just not sure what it is at all. Well, I can use eBay's search tool, and you can, same place where you can search something with a barcode, you can hit image under that same area and you can search with an image, and it will search its image database to find that item. And it has been very helpful. I do use that on a regular basis. Now, something that eBay just recently rolled out, and this is back to the marketing. Remember I said I'd talk to you a little bit later about it? Well, that's because I wanted to go a little bit further in depth with it. eBay, in their, what was it, summer news, brought out the AI generated video tool, and it will take your images from your listings and it will create a video for you. Right now you can only share it on TikTok and YouTube, but by the end of the year they're hoping to have it available where you can share it on Facebook and Instagram, which I think is pretty cool. I think I would use it a lot more on Facebook personally. So what you do, you basically upload your images, customize a tagline, add some hashtags, and you're good to go. Then you should be able to share it on TikTok and YouTube. Now, where do you find this? Well, you just go to your Seller Hub and it's under the marketing tab. And from there, I think you'll be able to figure it out. It's pretty simple. It's under social, and just follow the steps. It's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to just sort of finish this off, but we're going to go through a couple quick insights that I want to share and make sure that's understood. First off, start simple. Don't think you're going to do all of this if you've never done it before. Start slow, maybe add your descriptions, and work your way up to doing the eBay's video for TikTok and YouTube. I'm really hoping they do the Facebook one. I'm looking forward to that one. The other thing is, make sure you edit what AI gives you. I really feel like AI is a tool. I don't feel like it's going to replace any of us. I feel like some people are relying too much on just what AI is putting out. In my opinion, AI is a tool, but anything that comes out of AI sort of needs to be massaged and made your own. Yeah, AI can learn your tone of voice and it can do different things, but you need to make sure what's coming out is accurate, that it has all the information that you want it to have in it. And you want to make sure that you stand behind what it says, because in the end, you're responsible for what you put in your listings. For that, be careful, but use it as a tool and it should help you out quite a bit. Another point with that about massaging it is make sure the information's accurate. You do want to be ethical in this, and you want to make sure everything that you're listing is accurate to the best of your knowledge. So with that all being said, I think there was so much information in this video. I really want to thank my husband Bill for coming on and discussing how he uses AI with research, because let me tell you, he gets some good information. It's really helped us learn and grow with our business. And in the end, you just got to get your feet wet and try it out. I do hope you watch some of my other videos that we mentioned in this video, and I'd really love it if you'd subscribe, because it really does help me out. But in the meantime, happy selling.